Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about expectation versus reality. I have had the hardest time recently coming up with ideas on what I should do a video over. I did do some brainstorming and some research finally, and I have quite a few ideas and videos to come. I did record a video kind of like a day in the life while I was on nights last week. I haven't done the editing on it. I do want to do the editing on it, and so hopefully once I put everything together it looks good, and if it does then I'll go ahead and post it. But I got this video from another YouTuber who is a nurse, and I love her channel. So if you're wondering whether or not you should become a nurse or sonographer, you should check her out. Her name is Carly Ray. She definitely gives you the ups and downs of nursing. She talks about pay. She also talks about, like, you know, beauty and lifestyle stuff as well. So she's a great person to go follow. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get started with today's video. Okay, so if you're anything like me, you probably think that ultrasound is going to be all day taking pictures of cute little babies and not running around crazy. You probably think it's just a little bit like what you see on Grey's Anatomy or other shows where they go and look at their babies for the first time. You probably also think that, like, okay, I've been to school for 2 years and it's a short time to go to school, and I'm gonna make a whole lot of money once I'm done. I'm gonna have these great hours. Newsflash, it's nothing like that. Some people will get out of school and they'll know exactly what area they want to work in, meaning whether they want to work OB, abdomen, vascular, echo, whatever. Sometimes you will get lucky and land a job like that. I've kind of mentioned it before. I highly recommend not specializing, only because for me, I don't know exactly what I want. Now I do. With that being said, I did apply for a video. I did apply for a new position within my hospital that I actually will be scanning babies all day. And not every case will be happy, but I'm really hope I get that job, and I will let y'all know as soon as I find out if I get it. If I don't, then it's not my time, and that's okay. Eventually what I want and what I'm ready to specialize in it will be my time, and then I'll get that job. So I'll keep you posted on that. Anyhow, back to reality. So most of the time, if you're not one of the lucky ones who jump into the field and get the job of their dreams that they love and they want to stick with for the rest of their life, then you're probably a general sonographer. You probably work in the hospital hand in hand with the emergency room. If that is the case, you have to be used to working nights. You have to be used to working on call and being called in all throughout the night. And you have to be ready for the unexpected. And what I mean by that is when you work with the ER, you're getting everything. Anything you need. Like, let's say, I get this a lot. In the ER, a patient will come in for pain in their calf or swelling or difficulty breathing. What we'll do for those is typically a lower extremity venous study. So basically, we're gonna scan both their legs, make sure there's no blood clots in their legs. And not all your patients are ideal weight. And then with that being said, even if you get a patient who is the ideal weight, their vasculature might not be so easy to scan. So sometimes you can have heavy patients and you'll be super easy to scan, but most of the time the heavier ones are a little bit harder to scan, and you never get the easy patients when you have these exams. So with a lower extremity venous Doppler, typically that exam takes about an hour. It can be less and sometimes more depending on how hard it is. The radiologists do understand that we cannot see it all. We can't see everything, that we're very limited as to what we can see. So it kind of depends on who you work for or who you work with. Now, Another thing we'll get a lot of, like I said, it's not all happy. I get a lot of first trimester miscarriages that come in. In fact, last week I had one that kind of traumatized me because I've never experienced anything like this. And I'm sure if you are a sonographer, you've probably had it a time or two. I've had the patients who are bleeding uncontrollably because they're miscarrying, but I've never had one like this. I'm gonna try to be as very discreet as I can because I definitely don't want to talk about the patient. She was a sweet patient. She came in heavy bleeding, blood clots and everything. She knew she was miscarrying. And what we'll do when that's the case, when that happens, what we typically do is we take them back and do a transabdominal scan. We make sure, what we're looking for is we make sure that there's no internal bleeding, 1, and 2, that there's no retained products of conception, which means that pieces like, let's say like anything of the baby, you know, like your yolk sac, your gestational sac, you're looking to make sure that there's no placental tissue there in the endometrium. So you're looking for all kinds of things. You're also looking, if they don't know they're miscarrying, you're looking to see if they are miscarrying. But when they already know they're miscarrying, you're looking for the retained products. So you scan on top. They have to have a full bladder for you to see anything. And even then, it's really difficult to see sometimes. After you do the transabdominal scan, then you have them go to the restroom and empty their bladder. So this patient, like I was saying, was bleeding like ridiculous. She stood up to go to the restroom and she says, oh, I'm so sorry. And I look down and there's like blood everywhere. And it's like big clots, what I thought would look like kind of a placenta too. And I was like, okay, you're okay. She says, I'm gonna go to the restroom. So she goes to the restroom, she sits down, and then she tells me she feels like she needs to have a bowel movement. If you've ever had a child before, you know that that's what delivery feels like, is having a bowel movement. So I told her, please don't go to the restroom. Let me get help real quick. So one of the other sonographers that was there, I asked her some questions, and then we heard her say, I need help, please. And so I opened the bathroom door, and as soon as I opened the bathroom door, she falls out on me, like just completely codes. I check to make sure she has a pulse. She does. So she's just kind of like fainting and coming in and out. I'm trying to talk to her. I'm like, ma'am, I need you to really talk to me. Let's talk here. We're gonna get you back to the ER. So we call the code, we get her back to the ER. She's still bleeding profusely. And then she comes to, as we get her back to her room and we get her laying down, she comes back to, and she says, are you leaving me? Like, and this is very rare. You don't get this from most patients, but she goes, I don't want you to leave me. You're the best I've had here today, and I appreciate you. And I told her, I reassured her that, you know, that all the nurses and the doctors that are on our team were awesome, and we're there to take care of her, and we'll make sure she's okay, and that I would come and check on her if I had the time to later on. Long story short, they ended up getting her stable, and she ends up being fine. But it's not every day that you get the gratitude from patients. Most of the time you don't really get much gratitude. So it does make you feel good when somebody who's going through that gives you that gratitude. So it definitely is a good thing. And that's one of the good things about my job. But then I had to go back and clean up my room. So I called housekeeping, and they came down, and she and I cleaned the whole room together, bleached it and everything, cleaned everything. And it just kind of traumatized me because I've never seen that much blood before. I've seen a lot of blood, but this was way more than I've ever seen. But I was glad to know that she was okay and everything was gonna be fine. But those are the ugly sides of being a sonographer. So like I said, not everything's all pretty. Another reality of it is, yes, the money can be good. I make good money. I work a lot. Sometimes I feel burnt out, and I wonder and I question whether or not it's worth it. You know, because I miss my family. But that's like rare. Like when I'm feeling burnt out, it's probably because I am working way too much, and I make that decision to work that much. So I have to reevaluate, step back and realize that I need to spend more time with my children and my husband. And then at that point, then it seems all worth it to me. I've talked about pay in the prior videos. Not everybody makes that much money. Sometimes I hear people who barely make any money, and I'm like, I don't even, with as hard as our job is, like, I don't even know how you can do that. I would totally look for something else. But another reality of being a sonographer is I get it all the time. I've even had people ask me, what do you mean you can't sit down? When I work nights especially, I never sit down. I probably get to finally sit down about 4 in the morning. There are some nights that are super slow, but at that point you never say it. Do not say, man, tonight's a slow night, because the moment you say that, the ER is gonna start jumping. You're gonna get all these stats in. But like I was saying, I don't normally sit down. So if the day shift had a really busy day and there's a bunch of routine patients on the floor that need to be seen, throughout the night, we're trying to clear our board. So you're going, and you're scanning all these patients to make sure that when it's time for you to go home, that you're not leaving a whole bunch of work for your day crew, or vice versa. You're constantly on the go. So you really don't ever get to sit down. Another thing is, you think that once you graduate school, you're done learning, and then now you don't have to worry about any more schooling or anything like that. Newsflash, you still have to get all your registries. You don't have to get all of them, but you at least have to get one. And then on top of that, then you have all your CEs that you have to have every year. So when the 3-year time period as a sonographer comes up that you have to turn in all your CEs, you have to make sure you're prepared for those. So yeah, that you're constantly learning. And in the world of ultrasound, it's constantly evolving. So there's always something new to learn. Another thing is, I never expected to mess with body fluids, better yet blood everywhere. But like I said in a previous video, when we do procedures, we are right there with all these body fluids, like ascites. That's everybody's different. Most of the time it comes out like a wheat yellow color, and I've drained like 25 liters before, and the smallest I've drained is a couple of liters. But it's not pretty. And like I said, if you don't like smells, maybe this isn't for you. So like, I really never thought about the smells prior to going into ultrasound. But I'm gonna tell you, when you go up to some of these patients' rooms that have been in the hospital for a while and haven't had necessarily like the best of a bath or a shower, but they're clean, you haven't had the best of a shower, you gotta get used to some smells. That's all I'm gonna say. So if you can't handle smells, then you might not want to be in this profession. And the last thing that I can think of is, like I said, it's not all pretty. I have had patients who have had bugs that come in from off the streets, or, you know, just weren't in the best of care or weren't taking care of themselves the best, and they come in and they do have to get cleaned. But it makes you feel a certain type of way. I was scanning a patient the other day, and if you know, as you know, like, you're really close to a patient. Like when you're scanning them, you're like right there next to them. Sometimes we even like kind of lean on them to stabilize our hand while we're scanning. I like to go into a patient's room and put a towel between me and the patient's bed. So like if I have to lean on the bed, I'm not touching their sheets and their blankets. I'm touching my towel that's clean that I put there, okay? With that being said, I had a patient recently who I'm scanning their legs, and she's talking to me and we're having a good conversation. But then she informs me that she had no idea she had head lice until she got there, and that they cleaned her head multiple times, and all 3 times there were hundreds of lice. And if you know me, I don't deal with lice. I don't deal with lice at all. I don't deal with spiders. I start to itch thinking about them. I understand it's very normal for some people to have them. It's not like really disgusting, but for me, it just, I don't like it. So but I cannot show that to the patient. I have to be professional. I can't show them that I'm scared or nervous or grossed out or anything like that. So all you can do is finish the scan. Luckily, I had proper gear on, so I already had a hairnet on, because when you go into a patient's room, it will tell you if they're, oh gosh, I can't even think of the word right now. Basically, they tell you what cautions they have. So I have all kinds of stories, and you never know what you're gonna get. So if you're getting into the ultrasound field because you think it's all fun and babies and happy moments, it's not. And you have to be prepared for the worst in every situation. For instance, like, I was in OPIC, which is the outpatient clinic, 2 weeks ago, and Monday through Thursday I was there, and from 7 a.m. until 3:30, I didn't even get a lunch break. Now, that's not all the time, but most of the time we don't get lunch breaks, and even if we do, it's like 30 minutes. And honestly, when I got into the field of sonography, I thought, you know, we're gonna have a lunch break and I get to go hang out in the break room or in the cafeteria and have a good conversation and have good friends. It's not like that. There's a lot of times that I sit by myself and eat lunch and then go right back to work. Luckily, it's only 30 minutes and not an hour. But there's times where I just am nonstop working. So like I was saying, if you think that ultrasound is something easy that you just want to get into, sorry, I just jumped, something touched my toe. And it was like one of those, here, it was one of these things. I don't know why it was on the floor. Maybe it fell off my light stand, I don't know, but it just touched my toe and scared me. So anyways, if you think ultrasound is like so easy and it's something that you want to do because you want an easy job that makes a lot of money, please do your research. Please know that it's not as easy as you expect it to be. There are so many areas of ultrasound, and yes, there are some, but you know, you definitely don't get into ultrasound because you want it to be easy. It's one of those things you have to do because you love doing it and you love helping people. So I hope this video helps, and I hope I didn't ramble on too long, but I hope you guys have a wonderful day and really enjoyed this video. And also too, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but like I'm at like almost 900 subscribers, which I never in a million years thought that like anybody would want to hear me talk. So thank you so much. I do this for you guys, and it really makes me feel good that y'all actually like my videos. Y'all are the sweetest. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.